to warm up on a cold winter's day with a hot bowl of soup? Well, I'm personal chef Angela Capata from Eat Your Heart Out Edibles, here to show you my most requested soup, Zuppa Toscana. But please make sure to click the subscribe link below so you don't miss out on any of my favorite recipes, tips, or tricks. Okay, so the first step is you're gonna get half a pound of bacon, about 8 slices, and my trusty parchment paper for easy cleanup. You're gonna line a baking pan, and you're gonna put your bacon onto the parchment lined baking sheet. I do this because it's easy cleanup, and the bacon can be cooking while you're prepping all of the ingredients for the soup. And you're gonna preheat your oven to 450 degrees. You want your oven hot so it can get the bacon crisped up very nicely. Obviously, if you didn't want bacon, you could omit it and make it a more meat-free type dish. So this is going to the oven for about 10 minutes, oven 450 degrees. Set the timer so I don't forget. That's step 1. Okay, so while your bacon's in the oven, getting all crispy, we're gonna start prepping all the ingredients for the soup. So I have half of a Vidalia onion here, about a half a cup, that you are going to dice and throw into your soup pot. You can take the lazy way out if you want and buy pre-cut onions, but I'm not. And then you're going to add to the pot some sliced mushrooms, about 8 ounces, and I have baby portobello mushrooms, but you can also use white button mushrooms if you'd like. And I slice them ahead of time just to save a little bit of time while filming. And obviously you can see these don't have to be perfect. No one's gonna measure them. Just chop up the onion and into the soup pot they go. And when I'm cooking down the commercial kitchen for my clients, this is honestly what I do. I bring the pot over to my prep space and just throw all the vegetables in there before I head over to the stove. So I have my onion in there, my trusty garlic paste. I will link my blog post about this because this will save you garlic hands for sure and a lot of time. But this is the equivalent to about 3 to 4 cloves of garlic that you're gonna squeeze into the pot. And then I have about 4 to 5 medium-sized potatoes. I'm using russet, but you can use red skin or whatever you have. They've already been washed, and I don't even go through the effort of peeling them. They're fine with the skin on, and you just want to make these into bite-sized pieces. And then these will go into the pot as well. So I make this soup, especially now that it's winter, maybe twice a week, and if I ever serve it at an event, it is the first thing to go. It's really hearty and filling, and you'll see at the end there's a lot of alternatives to make it a low-carb, keto-friendly, or even make it meat-free and vegetarian. So stay tuned to the end. You can already smell the bacon cooking, and I feel like I've been in here cooking for hours, and it's literally been, what, like 5 minutes so far? A drizzle of olive oil to salt these with. If you wanted to make it oil-free, of course, you can just do a water saute and put a little water in the bottom of the pot to get them going. But drizzle of olive oil. And I'm gonna walk this over to the stove over medium-high heat and get this all cooking. Okay, so the onions, garlic, potatoes, they're sauteing on the stove. Smells amazing. I just split my bacon, 10 more minutes, that's gonna be done. And now I'm gonna show you how to devein kale. So this is the greens that my greens of choice that I'm gonna put into the soup, but you simply could use spinach if you want. So I washed this kale, which you wanna make sure you always thoroughly wash it because it can be sandy. And it has a really thick stem that you wanna get rid of. So what I do is you fold the leaves in half, put it on the cutting board, and with the tip of your knife, you just cut it out. This, my trash cans here, will get thrown out, and now you just have a bunch of leaves that you're going to run your knife through. So I have a bunch, which I would say is about a pound of kale here, that I'm going to remove the stem and chop right through. And like I said, you very easily could just sub 5-ounce bag of spinach, which would be easier because you don't have to take the stem off. Or you could even do escarole if you want it. So the sky's the limit. That's why I like soup. You can do so many variations. and not really ruin the flavor of the recipe. So prior to my filming, I did pre-cook a pound of sweet Italian turkey sausage, but you can also use pork sausage if you want it. So this has been baked in the oven and cooled, and I just find that this is easier to have it all done beforehand, or you could crumble it and saute it off in a pot. But this is a lot quicker. I always find, like, since I'm cooking so much during the week, to have always something in the oven going and always something on the stove going. So I put anything in the oven I can. All right, now everything is ready for the pot. So now we have everything chopped and prepped, and we're gonna head over to the stove where I have my potatoes and the onions and the garlic sauteed. It's been about 5 minutes or so now, and you're gonna add your pound of sausage, whether it be turkey or pork sausage. And then you're going to add the kale that we chopped and the about 8 ounces of portobello mushrooms. Into the pot everything goes. And then, I need 2 hands for this one. You're just going to throw the rest of your ingredients in here. So the spices for this are spag, as I call it, which is salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder. And I know what you're thinking, you already added garlic and onion, but no matter what, I always add garlic and onion powder because it just kicks up the flavor that much more. And then this is Italian seasonings. So it's a tablespoon of parsley, a tablespoon of oregano, a tablespoon of marjoram, and about a half a teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes. And of course, you can add more if you want it spicy. So give it a good mix, and then I'm going to add a quart, which is 4 cups of chicken stock to this. Here comes the stock, and I'm gonna let all these vegetables take a nice little bath. Put your soup, I'd say, on medium-high heat. Give it a stir and pop the lid on for about 30 minutes. And in 30 minutes, your kale will be wilted, your potatoes will be cooked through, and then I will walk you through the final, most tasty steps. Half hour or so has gone by, and the soup is ready for the last final steps. So the potatoes are fork tender, the kale has wilted down, the mushrooms have cooked through, and it smells amazing. So now all you're going to do is get the bacon that we cooked at the beginning of the episode in the oven. It's nice and crispy and perfectly crispy. You honestly could just break it with your hands if you want it, but just do a rough chop with your knife through the bacon. Oh, can you hear how crispy it is? And you're gonna just add the bacon to the soup. And then I add about a half to 3/4 of a cup of either light cream, heavy cream. If you wanted this to be dairy-free, you would substitute this with coconut milk, but I'll make sure to include all this in the recipe notes. But you're gonna add that in. And then you're gonna add about a half a cup of Parmesan cheese or Pecorino Romano, whatever you have on hand. Add that in there. And this baby is, oh my gosh, it smells so good. And I'm gonna ladle a bowl so you can see the finished product. It's creamy, it's hearty. You just need a loaf of bread and you are set to go to keep warm on a cold winter's day. Voila, enjoy. All right, the soup is done. It smells amazing, but I wanted to walk you through just a couple quick substitutions. So if you wanted to make this soup meat-free vegetarian, you'd omit the bacon and you'd omit the sausage and you'd sub a can of cannellini beans. And if you wanted to make it vegetarian and dairy-free as well, in addition, you'd also omit the Parmesan cheese and the heavy cream, and you'd add 1 container, 14 ounces of coconut milk to give it the creamy consistency. And And then, I don't have it here to show you, but if you wanted to make it low carb, you would omit the potatoes and just add a head of cauliflower florets. So make sure you look at the recipe link below and I'll go over all that in detail. But, bon appetit.